welcome back to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. Today, we're talking about yet another coin review. This one is going to be about the DeFi space. And this is a coin that we touched on before. I did it as part of Altcoin back in, I think, at the end of July. And it's a main DeFi coin, but the DeFi space is very fractured right now. As we'll talk about in the news, this coin is a coin called REEF. It's on the Polkadot platform, and it actually borrows the same marketing campaign or marketing slogan that another project that we like is Divi. Divi is crypto made easy. Well, REEF is DeFi made easy. And they are looking to integrate or consolidate a lot of different things on the DeFi space, because there's so many different swap sites, so many different liquidity pools. It's hard to get good liquidity across the board for everything you want to do. But the concept of Polkadot is to integrate lots of different parachains and relay chains all within the Polkadot ecosystem. And I'll be sure and watch my video on Polkadot, which will be out. I'll re-release that soon. But also for projects that are in the DeFi space beyond Polkadot's ecosystem, there are bridges and relays that you can bring those other things from the Ethereum platform, from the Atom platform, our Cosmos and Avalanche and so on, all integrated into under one roof. So this solves a major problem of liquidity and integration across the DeFi platform. So looking for the right swap site, looking for the right cost for fees, the best prices, the best liquidity, all that stuff, it matters. So REEF is looking to solve that problem and make it easy for people to get involved in the DeFi space. So let's revisit the news. This is going to be the same news that I used back in July, end of July. So there's a little bit of dated information in there on the CoinMarketCap part. Sorry for that. But mostly everything else is new. And I think this project looks good. And the charting is brand new as well. So let's take a look at the news and the charts, and then we'll come back for the conclusion at the end. Just a quick reminder that nothing in this video is considered financial advice. I am not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Seek out your own advice and do your own diligence, do your own research. So the project I'm talking about today is a project called REEF, which is a DeFi coin on the Polkadot platform. Now, the first thing you'll notice on this page, that is the homepage for reef.finance, DeFi made easy is their slogan. Now, I hadn't noticed that before I dug into their page, but that sounds very familiar to what another project is doing that you may be very familiar with. So let me bring that up for a moment. So I've got the other project open. Let's jump over there. It's Divi, of course, which is crypto made easy. So it's interesting that REEF chose a very similar slogan. I guess it's a compliment to Divi, where they say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Divi has now been copied, essentially, by REEF, but it makes a lot of sense. It's a great slogan. Now REEF is using it, and it is DeFi made easy. So what does all that mean? First, let's go over my sources once again. My sources were mainly 2 videos and the REEF website. The first video is from Donald Lee, and I've used Donald before. His videos are very good, and sometimes he covers coins that are a little bit off the beaten path. I remember he did a really good one on Holochain or Hotcoin that I used several months ago. He does a great job of digging through REEF and simplifying it, because the white paper is very complicated. It's very complicated to understand. DeFi has got a lot of features to it, but I'm going to try and simplify it as best I can. So we're going to use Donald's video, which is a great video if you want to watch this one. If you pick one video to watch, this is the one I would choose. And then secondly was another video, which was a compilation that REEF Finance themselves put out, but it was Ivan on Tech, Lark Davis, and Crypto Mobster all talking about REEF in the area of February, back just a few months ago, talking about REEF. So what do these guys talk about? What is the problem that REEF is trying to solve? Let's dig into that for a moment. So the problem statement that REEF is working on is trying to aggregate all or put together everything in the DeFi space. That's really what it's trying to do. There's a lot of reasons to do that, because DeFi is complicated, it's hard to understand, and it's fractured. Let me just show you an example here. Looking over CoinMarketCap again, and if you click any project, like let's say Uniswap, and it's got a DeFi tag, you hit DeFi, and that screen I was just on comes up. This is all the coins that are in the DeFi space. There's a lot. There's just the top 100. We have DeFi, we have Uniswap, Chainlink. You have some wrapped coins. We have a stable coin in DAI and Terra. Then you have Aave that does lending. You have PancakeSwap, another swap. The Graph that does on-chain analysis. Maker, which is the governance for DAI. You have Compound. You have Avalanche. You have Yearn Finance, and on and on. I still haven't even gotten out of the top 100. We have SushiSwap. We have Synthetics, which is kind of a derivatives thing, or tracks other, like you could have a synthetic coin. I'm not sure why BAT's in here, but Thorchain, Bancor, MDEX, all these coins are considered DeFis, and I probably named about 15 to 20. Curve, Anchor, Phantom. So all these coins in the top 100, and then there's more on and on and on. There's all these different swap sites. There's all these different oracles. All these different projects that are all fractured across different blockchains, across different platforms, across different liquidity pools. And we'll talk about these terms a little bit, but that's how you get confused. So, REEF. Let's start with REEF is built upon, if you notice the logo, it's a curvy R in like a barrier reef. So it looks very reminiscent to the Polkadot logo, because REEF is built on the Polkadot blockchain. So that's important, and we will go back to it. But I will walk through this website probably towards the end of the news segment. But let's just go back to Polkadot, and this is a video I covered just the other week. Polkadot, this is the architecture for Polkadot, and it's a complicated drawing, but we have this gray circle with the dots. That is the relay chains that tie together all these little squares, which are parachains, or basically project blockchains. That is like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and so on, if they were developed on the Polkadot experience. One of these is the REEF project. So you have the REEF project, and it's got this relay chain, which allows us to talk to all these other projects that are built in the Polkadot ecosystem. And then they have bridges that are out here that talk to projects that are beyond the Polkadot ecosystem, like reaching out to Ethereum, reaching out to the Oracle for Ethereum, which is Chainlink, works with Cosmos, reaches out to Kava and Band. All these different projects that are out there that are fractured DeFi projects, either oracles or liquidity pools or swap sites like SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, all these different projects that are all over the map. REEF is trying to bring it all under one roof. So why would you want to do that? Well, you have two kinds of exchanges right now. You have your normal exchanges. You have like Coinbase, you have Kraken, and so on. These are centralized exchanges, and we all know that you're not supposed to leave your coins on there, because not your keys, not your coins, because they can be hacked and then they can go down, you can lose your coins. But they have a lot of liquidity. That's why people like to trade on them, because there's lots of volume throughout those exchanges. They've been established, and whether they exchange volume or exchange liquidity amongst the platforms like Kraken and Coinbase and Gemini, whether they do it or not, doesn't matter. The point is that if you want to get good value and good pricing and move coins quickly, you go to an exchange like that. However, the fees can be high, and you have that coin risk, because you actually have to put your coins on the exchange. On the other end of the spectrum, which was invented the last year or two, are the decentralized exchanges. Those are the DEXs. That is your 1inch, Uniswap, Metaswap, PancakeSwap, all these different swaps that are on there, where you have to log in, connect to there with a wallet, like a Trust wallet or a MetaMask, so you actually have your coins be put on there. You have to confirm the coins, and you can swap one coin for another. It's not to be confused with like a simple swap that you're actually not putting coins in there. The DEXs, you have to tie a wallet to it so that you can swap, because what they do on those sites is they have what's called a liquidity pool, and that is they have coins that they have in a pool that people have volunteered to put on there for staking reasons and get rewards, because the more coins that they have able to swap between one and another, if someone has Bitcoin and one Ethereum, or they have Ethereum, they want Polkadot, whatever the exchange is, they have to have liquidity of both coins in order to make them exchange. That's why sometimes when you go on these pool sites, they say that this coin is not available right now because they don't have any liquidity in it. So how do you take the best of both worlds? How do you get the liquidity of an online exchange like a Coinbase or a Kraken without losing the security of your keys and getting good pricing. Well, that's where you come in with a project like REEF. So what REEF does is it tries to take out some of the arbitrage. The arbitrage, I'm going to go through some terms in the DeFi space that hopefully aren't too confusing, but arbitrage just means that the price of Bitcoin on one exchange doesn't match the price of the Bitcoin on another exchange. So what happens now is that there's artificial intelligence bots or trading bots that are out there that try to balance it out. If they see Bitcoin's at 40,000 on one site but 39,000 on another, it will buy at the 39,000 and sell at the 40,000 on the two different exchanges at the same time to try to capture the value between those two and also to level out the pricing on the different exchanges. So they get the benefit of buying at 39 and selling at 40 immediately, and they get to kind of bring the prices to about 39.5 or so on each exchange. That kind of takes away the arbitrage. So to eliminate the price, the price difference, and to maximize the liquidity, if you bring everything under one roof, if you had if you had a thought process of making the best DeFi project whatsoever, you put everything under one roof. You would have the coins. You wouldn't have to have the coins go onto the exchange. You could have like the largest DEX available where all the DEXs talk to one another. That's exactly what REEF is trying to do. That will eliminate the arbitrage. That will increase the liquidity. That will improve the yield farming. And through with the project that REEF is doing, I'll walk through the website now. Like here's the circle diagram of like here's REEF connecting the Cosmos blockchain, Avalanche, Polkadot, Binance, Ethereum, all in this circle, which looks very much like that Polkadot drawing of all those relay chains of having everybody talk together. REEF is connecting them all. So REEF chain is going to do like this. Lots of terms in here. Liquidity bridge to get as much liquidity together in one spot. Get staking all together. Get the best yields for everybody. You get yields two ways. You can stake to a liquidity pool, or you can just work with a liquidity pool and get the interest. It's going to vary on which site you're using it to get the best return. But what REEF can do is look at all the different opportunities that are out there all at once and say that's the best answer for your money today, and keep moving it to get you the best returns. So REEF can do that for you. Governance, I won't go into. Pardon the scroll here. They do have some NFTs. There's liquidity bridges again. DEXs and automated market makers to, again, make the prices best. So I mentioned the difference between centralized and decentralized, and then it's on Polkadot. Talked about arbitrage, talked about the liquidity, so and the yield farming. So there's two things that REEF is doing, and I'll bring up like the timestamps here. So that's the second one. So smart yield farming aggregator. That's a fancy term for saying giving you the best yields possible. REEF is going to go out there and look at all the answers that it can find for the best yield farming for you to do and say, you should stake your X coin here to get the best yield today, and then I'll check it again later, and then maybe we move it. So that's what yield farming is doing. And that's what REEF is able to optimize by be able to look at all the different blockchains at once. The other one, and I should be able to get this pop up, I think it's right here. Yes, global liquidity aggregator. This is where I'm pooling all the assets together to have the global liquidity of like all the different decentralized exchanges under one roof. REEF can look at them all and saying, hey, there's a ton of Ethereum on this site. There's a ton of Zilliqa on this site. There's a ton of Atom on this site. Let's find the best exchange rates and put them all together and make this virtual pool that combines everybody under one roof. That is what REEF is doing. So this is how you optimize decentralized finance and these DEXs, is to have this one-stop shop where everybody comes to the table all at once, and REEF is doing that on the Polkadot because they have the ability with the ecosystem that Polkadot has put together with the parachains and the universal translator to have everybody talk together and tying everything together. That is what the REEF project is doing in a nutshell. If you try and read the white paper, you'll get sucked into a lot of terminology very deep. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend, if you want to go further, to watch these two videos that I will put in the description from Donald Lee and also from REEF Finance, and just gloss over what REEF is doing. But long story short, REEF is taking decentralized finance, all the different flavors, all those different swaps, all the different dexes that are out there, and putting them all together under one virtual roof. And then the REEF token is the cost of doing business at that store. So imagine having different food trucks, right? Food trucks around town, and each one is a DEX. But you get them all into under one warehouse, and REEF is that warehouse where you can go and shop and find everything that you want all in one place. That is what REEF is doing. That's what the REEF project is doing. And I think it's a great idea. It's a great use case of the Polkadot parachain relay chain area, but tying everything together. It is a huge need in the DeFi area, and it is going to make DeFi grow and become that much better. So that's a lot of news. I'm going to dig into the charts next. So we basically started down here, like below a penny, came up, kind of plateaued, and came down. I don't see an Elliott wave yet. I could see that. Let me draw this. Where is my Elliott wave? Elliott wave impulse. So this could be the start of a 1, and that being a 2. And then I'm just going to do this so I can draw it later. But if that's true, then let's see, Fibonacci retracement. And I always do this upside down. Let's see if we get it. Nope, got it wrong again. Every single time. It's like 50-50, but it always comes up the wrong way. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. If that's a wave 2. So first I want to do another one. Sorry, but you get to learn what I do in real time here. All right, so what I'm looking for here to see if this came down to the green zone, and it did. So if this is wave 1, then it should come back into the green zone, and it came down. Normally 50% is where I'm looking for. Came down a little more. So I'm going to pan to the right if I can. So if that's wave 1 and wave 2, wave 3 is always your biggest impulse, and that's what you're hoping for. That's what you're shooting for. And I'm just going to pull this over here like that. So Elliott wave 3 is always your biggest wave, and that should go up to 2.6. So that would be about here, with looks to be about 6.5 cents, between 6 and 6.5 cents, and then it would retrace about 50%. But it should not. One of the cardinal rules is it never breaks below the top of wave 1. So you would say maybe there, and then a 5 would go up about a point and a half at 1.6 of wave 4. So I'm kind of doing. So it kind of looked like this. So that's about what I would expect. So maybe you go to 6 cents, come down to like 4, maybe 4.5, and then go up to around 7 or 8. So that's the way I see it playing out. This is on a daily chart. So to me, this looks like a lot, again, with a lot of the altcoins, this looks like a good time to jump in. I think that being below 2 cents, that's a strong impulse that you could get up. Even if it gets to 5 cents, you're up, 1.5 times. So that's 150% profit. Nothing wrong with that. So I would not financial advice, but you could ladder out between the 1.6 and 2.6 would be between 4.5 and 6. And just looked at, and laddering out for those. I think I've done that before, but let me just, is there a pen? Yeah, let's try that. So laddering out, let's say this is your target, right? Let me draw the 2 horizontal lines. So I'm going to draw one at 1.6 and 2.6. All right. So that's another one. Let me draw another one. Go. So let's say this is your target area. So if you were laddering out, let's just say you wanted to do 5 steps. And I'll do more horizontal ones. So let's say I put one there, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm just going to put them in as I'm talking. But let's just say I just pick points, and because I might look at the older charts if I had more data. If I was looking for like if there was data over here, like over to my left where there'd be a whole lot of action, there'd be like a lot of trading between this area and this area. That's about where I'd set a target. But in generally speaking, if your target is here, I've set 5 lines, and I just say I want to sell. Say I'm going to sell half of it at that point. I might sell whatever I'm going to sell.
I would just say 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20% for all of what I'm going to sell. And every time I trigger one of these, I would sell and I'd be happier each time. Of course, I'm not as happy if I'd sold it all here, but what if it never gets up to that high point? At least if you get to like line 3, you've sold 60%, you should be happy because you made some profits. If you get to the 4th line, you're even happier. So every line that you reach, you're happier and happier as you climb the ladder. And then when you do a buy, if you're going to buy again, you do the same thing. You set a range and put buy orders in those net range. And that way, now you have to do that on exchange. I don't really like to leave money on exchange, so I usually put alerts. And then, like, if they'll tell me, like, if REEF gets to 5 cents, like, I'll go to them and say, okay, time for me to sell some. Or maybe I look at the chart again, and maybe I see something different at that point, because what I see today may not match what I see later on.
So there you have it. That's REEF for today. It looks like a very strong project. Again, I like the Polkadot ecosystem. It's a top 10 project. This is their #1 DeFi project. I think it's looking great. I like the idea of making it easy. That's a big plus in the crypto space, because it's difficult, even for people that have been doing crypto for a while. It can still be challenging to learn a new swap, like learning Pancake Swap, learning Sushi Swap. It's not the same as the other swaps. Like, they're all a little bit different, a little bit nuanced. How to integrate your wallet, how to get through the system, and so on. How to not lose a fee, that sort of thing, not lose a coin for sure. So there's a lot to be said about making DeFi easy. So for that alone, I like REEF, but I also like how they're structuring things, how they're putting it all under one roof, and they're working in a great ecosystem with Polkadot. So because of the power chains and the relay chains and the bridges, and bringing it all under one roof and making it as simple as possible for the end user, I give it a 4 out of 5, because it's essentially becoming a platform coin for DeFi. So I like platform coins in general. I like, Zilliqa, Theta, Atom, Polkadot, Cardano, these coins that offer you exposure to hundreds of coins, maybe even 1,000, if for in the stake of Ethereum, all for the price of one coin. Well, this coin REEF, this project gives you exposure to the entire DeFi space, or most of it, all for the cost, or all you have to do is be involved in REEF, instead of being involved in all these different swaps, or owning Sushi, or 1inch, or Avalanche, or Cake, and all these different coins. So to get exposure to all the DeFi space, you can just own REEF. So just making it easy, making it good for the user, make it good for the investor, I give it a 4 out of 5. So that's my review. That's my opinion. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Like, subscribe, share, and I look forward to hearing from you on this one. And with all that said, I'm going to close the drawer on the bureau, and I'll see you next time.